If you guys, I haven't entered all the grades yet, but there is a bonus for registering for class for next semester in Shobi, plus 5 test points. So just post your schedule, or if you have other plans, tell me what you're doing. If you're going to school somewhere else, or if you're just going to stay home and be a bum, I'm not going to give you 5 points.
What? What if that's the future plans?
Well, if that's the future plan, sorry.
Oh, covered.
Sorry, guys.
I mean, I'm just saying, technically, those are future plans.
Okay, well.
I mean, they may not be grandiose plans,
As say
but they are plans.
about staying at home and not doing anything.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe to get the 5 points right, you have to write a whole essay.
That's only if you're just staying home.
All right. Well. Okay. Okay. All right, and the test 4 is take home, and it opens up in Shobi after class today and closes before class Tuesday. I won't accept it late. Of course, you know, you can take a picture of each page if you have to. I prefer it in paper, but I did not giving it to you in paper, so if you end up working at Shobi, that's fine. I'll grade it in Shobi. Yeah?
So we just need to print it off then?
You can either print it or yeah.
So if we print it, we just bring it to class Tuesday.
Yeah, if you print it, then bring it to class. If you're not sure you're going to make it to class, then send me a picture of each page, or I use Genius Scan on my iPad and it worked fine. It let me, I scanned something, it was something for another class, I think, or maybe even this class, and then I tried it on this class. Genius Scan whited out my paper so much on the quiz that you just had when I was trying to post that, so I didn't use it. Anyway, Genius Scan had a little thing for me to click to send it, and I got to choose the ... and it let me choose Shobi, and I was already opening the file I wanted to put it in Shobi, and so it asked if I wanted to put it there, and I said yes, and it was pretty seamless, but you know, those ... on Microsoft products, you have to click on that sometimes. I've heard that it would be good to, you know, put that kind of stuff in a little video for people that know how to use these things, but I haven't had time. Okay. All right, so here's a definition. The dot product of two vectors results in a scalar, not a vector. Okay, this is scalar. Not a vector. So, if you've got two vectors, you know, these are bold-faced, so they're vectors, but I put the arrows over them. B and W, and this is what you got on the test. To find the dot product, it does not mean times. This is a dot product for vectors. So if it's vectors and you see a little dot, that's the dot product. Doesn't mean times. All you do is multiply the A1 times A2 plus B1 times B2. And you multiply that out, add those together, and that's your answer. It's a scalar. It's not a vector. So for vectors, if you see V dot W, and it's in bold, I think on the test that's how it came out, as bold without the arrows. I don't have a way to add the arrows. So bold print means vectors. So find the dot product of B and W, if this is what they equal. So just take 7 times 2 plus -4 times -1. So if you know what a dot product is, it's very easy to find. That's 14 plus 4 is 18. What's W dot B? It's 2 times 7. So we could switch the order, you get the same thing. 2 times 7 plus the -1 times -4, and it equals 18. Same answer. What's W dot W? In that case, we have to take the 2 times the 2 plus the -1 times -1. And that equals 4 plus 1 is 5. And reminder of the magnitude of W will be the square root of A squared plus B squared. So this is just the magnitude squared. So they didn't ask for the magnitude, but this is the magnitude. Okay, so dot product property. Say that 3 times fast. 5 times fast. Peter Pepper, Peter Pepper.
It takes a better butter and a better butter batter to make a better butter batter better.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That's what my grandpa always said.
Oh, okay. I can't do that. Okay, we have our limitation. All right, we're going to switch them. So if you switch the dot product of vectors, they stay the same. Okay, so U, V, W are vectors, C is scalar, and you can sort of, if you have U dot V plus W, you can kind of distribute. This is, you can distribute with it as U dot V plus U dot W. So we can distribute. The zero vector times any vector V is going to give you the zero vector, for which, you know, I didn't have an arrow over my. Okay, so we found out V dot V is going to be your magnitude squared. And if you have a scalar times a vector dotted with another vector, it's going to be, you can take the scalar out and do the dot product first. Or you could switch it around and put the scalar with the other vector, it doesn't matter. Okay, so those are the dot product properties of vectors. All right. All right, the next thing, there's an alternative formula for the dot product. It's B dot W is the magnitude of B times the magnitude of W times the angle between them. That's the angle between them. So, a formula for the angle between two vectors, theta equals cosine inverse. You could solve this for cosine and then take the inverse of B dot W divided by the magnitude multiplied together. W. Okay, and number 7, I have to work this on separate paper. So, all right, so number 7 says find the angle between two vectors. So we're going to use this formula. Theta is cosine inverse of, okay, B dot W is 4 times 1 plus negative 3 times 2. Divide by the magnitude of B. The magnitude of B is the square root of 4 squared plus negative 3 squared. And then we'll multiply that times the magnitude of W. 1 squared plus 2 squared square root. So we get cosine inverse of 4 minus 6. This is going to be 16 plus 9, or the square root of 25. This is 1 plus 4 is the square root of 5. So that's cosine inverse of negative 2 divided by 5 square root of 5. Square root of 25 is 5. Okay, and if we want to rationalize, we could type it in the calculator like that, or we could rationalize that. Minus 2 over 5 square root of 5 can be rationalized. You don't need to multiply by a 5, just the square root. You're trying to get rid of the square root. So you multiply by the square root of 5 over 5. And you get minus 2 square root of 5 divided by 5 times 5, because this times itself, square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. Is negative 2 square root of 5 over 25. So that's how you rationalize that. There wouldn't be a need to really rationalize that. I just wanted to show you guys that. Some people still struggle with that, understandably. Okay, so in the range, what are we going to get for theta is because of its cosine inverse is 0 to pi. Remember, section 4.7. All right, we're going to put that in there. Okay, what did it say? Did it? Oh, do we want degrees or do we? It didn't say, right? Degrees. Okay, so it's going to be between 0 and 180 degrees. So this question said to get it in degrees. So we need degree mode. So we check that first. Mode, degree, second width. Okay. All right. Put this in the calculator. Second cosine the inverse cosine of -2 times the square root of 5, close the parenthesis, that closes the square root, and then divided by 25. And we get 100.3 degrees. So, because we're taking the inverse cosine, we're going to get an angle between here. Because it's of a negative number, cosine, let's get rid of the calculator. Cosine is negative in quadrant 2. So we expected an angle not in quadrant 2, 90 degrees. And we did. We got an angle, and you could draw these vectors and make sure your answer makes sense. But I didn't ask you to do that, so we draw the vectors 4i minus 3j. So I is a unit vector on the x-axis. J is a unit vector on the y-axis. So this is 4i minus 3j. 1, 2, 3. So the vector V will be here. Let's draw the vector I plus 2j. I plus 2j is here. That's the vector W. What's this angle between them? It looks like it's more than 90, but not much more. So that's the angle we found, the angle between these two vectors. So that makes sense, right? So you should make sure your answer makes sense if you can. Any questions? So we want to draw our vectors with the origin, with the endpoint on the origin for that. We're not finding the result, we're not adding these vectors, so we don't put them end to end. If we were adding them, we'd put this over here. Okay? Questions? Sure.
Here we go. I lost it, I'll say. On number 3 on C, where you got the W with the double on each side, does that just mean the absolute value with the square root or whatever?
Okay, number 3.
Yeah, the C part where you got the W with the 2 lines on each side.
Yeah, that means magnitude.
Magnitude.
Yeah, that was, you missed class last time. Did you watch Slavery?
No, I didn't know. I forgot.
Okay. Well, that was defined last time.
Okay.
So, but it is the magnitude. I'm trying to find six notes to pull that up. But yeah, we started vectors in section 6.6. So.
That explains why I'm so lost.
Okay. Yeah. So 6.6 notes. The magnitude is denoted by this for a vector. This is a directed line segment. And so, where do we tell you that it's a squared plus b squared though? Usually our vectors, you're going to get your vectors written in terms of the unit vectors. Just reviewing a little bit, the unit vector has a magnitude of 1. I is along the positive x-axis. J is a unit vector along the positive y-axis. And so, and the other thing, very important, is the resultant vector. That's what we call it when we add two vectors together. We can add them together by putting them end to end, or we can just add you're going to get your vectors in this form. You're going to get your vectors in this form. You're going to add the x part and the y part. And that's the result that's showing. So where did we say magnitude? Oh, here it is. So the magnitude, if it's in this form, will be this. Okay? No problem.
I'll make sure to watch that video now. I'll figure out that you put detective videos on that.
Yeah, and a lot of people missed last time because of the weather. So you're not the only one, so somebody else probably had the same question. Thank you. Okay. It's okay. We got time. This is just a 2-page. This is a very short lesson.
I don't think there's even a math lab on this one.
No, there isn't.
There's not a math lab, but there is a quiz.
Oh, there's a quiz on it?
I saw a quiz on there. It's
In math lab?
6.7.
It's 5 questions, I think.
Oh,
There's
quiz.
no homework on it.
Yeah, there's no quiz, but there's a,
Oh, okay. I did the concept and vocabulary
Yeah.
quiz. Yeah. Okay.
Super short.
All right. 5-question concept and vocabulary quiz. I added those concept and vocabulary quizzes. Okay. So. All right. Good question because a lot of people did this last time. 7. We did
Because
that.
that first one saying is the absolute value, but no.
No.
Saying no, that's only one line, not 2 lines.
Right. It's a notation for the magnitude of a vector. And you're always going to have your vectors in AI plus BJ form. So it's just going to be the square root of a squared plus b squared. It's the Pythagorean theorem. All right. So another definition. 2 vectors are parallel if when the angle theta between the vectors is either 0 degrees or 180. If theta is 0 degrees, they point in the same direction. If theta is 180, the vectors point in opposite directions. And, okay, so parallel, we get that, okay? They'll be pointing in opposite directions if theta is 180. 2 vectors are, now we can't use perpendicular, right? We got to use a different word. I don't know why we don't use perpendicular. But orthogonal. That's an O. Of orthogonal when the angle between the vectors is 90 degrees. The dot product of orthogonal vectors is 0. So, in order to see if 2 vectors are orthogonal, which means perpendicular, then you can do the dot product. So we're going to find W dot or V dot W, which doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the order. Is 2 times 6 plus 3 times -4. 12 minus 12 is 0. Yes, they are orthogonal. It's the word we use for perpendicular. Okay, so, and then there's other stuff, not as important, so I guess it's all shoved under number 11. So, you're not going to have this on the test, but I wrote it out. And I don't really want to confuse you. This isn't going to be on the test. So, It's in the filled-in notes. Let's not go over it. It's
Okay.
just going to be confusing to go over all that. I think. All right, so we're done. That was 6, 7. Now what? Okay.
Time to go home?
We can open up the test. We can go home.
This feels kind of anticlimactic.
You can ask questions if you have questions on things. Remember, there is no test review because I posted the answers to all those worksheets. That's kind of like a review. Look back at those worksheets. I will post the answers to the latest worksheet that was due this morning in Shobi. That's our review. So, and yesterday I worked part of the quiz. So, did you get to watch Peggy?
Yeah, I looked at it because I was really curious. I was like, what am I missing?
So I did. I went over that problem
Appreciate
in
that.
detail. So on the quiz. So and then I let him have an extra day.
Yeah.
So and then I said I'm going to grade it on a participation grade. All right, because I'm trying to get you guys to learn this material. All right. So let's go into Shobi and I'll open up your test and talk about your test a little bit, and then we're done for today. You got to spend the time on the take-home test, so that's fair, right? But certainly, if you have questions about it, you can let me know. If you have questions on the directions, you should type it right into here under Test 2. Take-home test, which I'm going to open up. So, it was going to automatically open up at 10:30, but I just opened it up now. Here we go. It automatically closes on the due date. So, I won't accept it late, but if you walk in at 9:15 and turn it in paper, that's fine. But so any of these tests, there's a test cover sheet. Okay. So this is my cover sheet. Maybe some of you have seen this before. Just change it for each take-home test I give. You have to submit it beginning class Tuesday. And hopefully I got the date right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And it is extremely important you understand your steps, because the same types of questions, many of the same types are on the final. But this is your entire test 4. I'm not doing something where I take part of the final. I just want to get your test 4 done and figure out your grade. So you do have to show your correct trigonometric steps or algebraic, receive full credit. Even if you can do it in your head, please write that step down. You should show the formula used and what you entered into your calculator when appropriate. If you're in doubt, then put it down. You can send me messages. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to check. Is this enough work? But you can do that. Okay. And work must be written neatly on a task note paper. If you need more room for work, then write it on paper with it numbered. Don't put number 10 here, number 6 here, and the work's all over the place.
I think you're subtweeting me right now.
Am I talking about you?
Yeah, I do that all the time.
It's hard for me to find your work. I usually do, but it's a challenge. You can use your calculator.
That's why I try to put a big number with a parenthesis beside it. I know my last test mine was example 2.
Yeah.
But I try to make sure there's a big number beside it.
Yeah, and sometimes it helps. It also helps if for me when I'm grading it, I'll look and I'll see no work, and I won't look back to your scrap paper, and I'll write no work, and then later on I'll find your scrap paper and go, oh, there it is, and then I'll go back and cross out that no work and give you the points back. But So you could say, see attached, you did
Yeah,
that.
I'll put it on.
See attached paper, and then you didn't have the paper, so I had to have.
Well, I was trying to put it in with a Genius scan, and then I handed you the task and not the scratch paper, because it's in with the task.
Yeah, you forgot the scrap paper, but we got it. We got it. So, yeah. So that's, it just helps. I have a lot of tests. I have a test to grade in every class next week, so. And you shouldn't talk about it with other people. It should be your understanding. You should not use an app or a website. So you can use your notes, you can use the D12 contents, your book, Shobi contents, you can use my math lab, I mean. See, this was a statistic, forgot to switch that around. Math lab, same as stat lab, I mean. Okay. And you shouldn't use an app or a website to help you. So there are apps that you can scan a problem and it'll do the whole thing for you. So if you do that, you're going to flunk the final. Okay? But this is help take the pressure. There's a lot of things to remember in this section. This takes the pressure off of you. It gave us more time to do examples in class. And so I decided to do take home. And I've been happy. I had no reason to believe, as far as that anybody here was cheating. I mean, you guys have been honest, but you don't have to print this out and sign it if you don't want to. Just you can
Just
type
stab
it.
our thumb and
You
put
can-
the blood on the top of the paper.
Yeah, that's right. Or you could just write a comment. I accept the terms or whatever. Okay.
You know,
Here.
that's the biggest lie in the world when you check that box, right? Nobody reads the terms and conditions.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so I read it to you. So this is the test. Everybody, we have different versions out there. And this is somebody's test. Make sure, like, this is version A, okay? So if everybody's going to be printing tests right now, make sure, see this says A on it. Make sure you get your version, because I'm going to be confused that you did somebody else's version. Okay? So, you know, like Rodney has version B. Okay, and it is 6 pages. And let's see. Yeah, I was giving you room to work, see? 6 pages.
that.
So, and it's a take-home test, so it's going to be longer than if it was in class. Honestly, that's the way it works. Okay? So, all right, any questions about the take-home test? So if you have questions on my directions, I usually say I want exact answers. If it's a 30-degree angle, or 60, or 45, you can give me exact answers with square roots. But if you're not sure, then send me a message and I'll clarify it to the whole class. You can just put it right in here and I get an email. Type something in, Rodney types, I'm not sure, number 5, if you wanted an exact answer or a decimal answer. And then or how many decimal places you want me to go. You know, that's fine.
I learned chemistry, the rule was 4 decimal places.
All right,
That's
that's it. We'll stop.